Hello, and thank you for exploring Lakehead International's videos. My name is Jordan, and I am the International New and Social Media Officer. I'm also the host of the Lakehead International Live series, a fun and informative way for you to connect with current international students, professors, and ask questions about admissions and everything Lakehead. You are about to watch a recording from one of our previous live sessions. If any questions arise throughout the video, please do not hesitate to comment below. If you would like to check out some of our upcoming live sessions, please head over to our website at lakeheadu.ca/international-live. Let's begin.
Let's just give you a very brief overview of Lakehead University. So Lakehead University is a public research institution located in the province of Ontario in Canada. We're very proud to have been awarded the distinction of being the #1 undergraduate research university in Canada 5 years in a row, from 2015 to 2019. Today we're #2, but we're gonna come back for that #1 spot hopefully next year. We are the #1 Canadian university under 10,000 students in the world, according to Times Higher Education. And we're among Canada's top 10 universities, primarily for undergraduate programs. And what all this means is that you can expect to have one of the best quality education here at Lakehead University. Oh, I think Jordan, we have Jordan back.
Hector, I am back. Can you hear me? Can you see me right now?
Yes, now I can hear you and see you. Okay, so okay. Perfect. Yeah, I'm recording already, so please feel free to take over.
Awesome. Okay, I can see everyone again. I'm so sorry about that, folks. I sadly lost power here at my house, but I am back online. The joys of working remotely, as they say. Hector, I would imagine that you did cover this slide to full extent, or where can I pick up where you left off?
No, I haven't. Like, I'm in the graduation employment stats.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll pick up where Hector left off. Chatting about our small class sizes here at Lakehead it goes without saying, as small class sizes really does connect directly to that employment statistic, or the rate that we have our graduates employed. So having 15 to 1 in Thunder Bay, so 15 students to 1 faculty member and 13 to 1 in Aurelia, is really key to our success within our students, and also the Lakehead experience. Something that we're really proud of is having those small classroom environments to influence broader conversations, but also more in-depth conversations with both your peers and your professors, which really sparks that knowledge and that learning environment. And then last but not least, of course, since we're on an international session, I'd be remiss not to mention the fact that we are very proud to have over 70 nations represented in our student body here at Lakehead University. We're always growing that number, and hopefully one day you'll be able to join us here at Lakehead University to add to it as well. So we'll head to the next slide, and we'll chat about academics at Lakehead. And more specifically, of course, we're going to dive into the Faculty of Business Administration, but on a broad overview for everyone to know, we do have 10 faculties, academic faculties. They are Business Administration, Engineering, Science and Environmental Studies, Natural Resources Management, Education, Social Sciences and Humanities, Health and Behavioral Sciences, Law, Medicine, and Graduate Studies. And like I said, though, today we're going to focus on business administration, and more importantly, the 4 main programs within that faculty. And we're going to talk about that journey and talk about that program structure, really dive deep into it. So without further said, we'll chat a bit about the faculty itself. So we're very proud here at Lakehead University to actually be AACSB accredited on our Thunder Bay campus. It is one of our most popular faculties here at Lakehead University. As many of you can probably appreciate, business is a popular topic. It's a worldly topic. It covers so many different aspects and subject areas. So we definitely get students of all sorts of passions and interests that are joining us in the program. And we continue to add collaboration points as well as community partners to enhance our offerings here at Lakehead University. I'll pass over to our 3 faculty members to see if they would like to add to the faculty overview, or if they would like to add a little point here. And then if not, we'll dive into undergraduate programs to start. Looks like we'll dive in. Oh, sorry, go
No,
ahead.
it's okay, No, just a matter of reminding that, well, we have several programs with the community and several community partners. So usually there are quite a lot of opportunities for students to join in projects with companies, and particularly in third and fourth year on the master's degrees, we have a kind of a strong relationship with communities, and students usually do many projects with community partners like the City of Thunder Bay or Thunder Bay Ventures and other important players here in Thunder Bay, and same in Aurelia.
Awesome. So before we actually move into the undergraduate section, I'll get Hector to launch our very first poll of today's session. The poll is essentially going to ask our audience sort of what program are you interested in studying? And so I'll give him a minute to get that up there and launched, and then we'll have the audience here answer live so we get a better idea of who's joined us today.
So far we have just one vote. 2.
No worries. So unfortunately, I can't see the results right now. So maybe we'll give it about 20 seconds more.
Just a minute. Bachelor of Administration, what is this? You mean the 3-year program?
Correct.
The B.Admin program, correct.
There is no admission to be a Bachelor of Business Administration. No admission, they cannot admit to it.
Of course, yes. Yeah, no, I know that these are not necessarily admissions specific programs. So
yeah, because
as you mentioned, you can apply directly to that program, but I know many students will apply for the HBCom with the intentions of doing the 3-year B.Admin. So it's an option.
If they don't meet the average requirements.
So Hector, I'll see if you want to launch the results of that, and then we'll get a better idea of who's joined us today and what topics we can focus on. Awesome. Looks like we have a number of students interested in the MBA as well as HBCom. Some students undecided, no problem. Hopefully today's session will help clear that up for you. Next, we'll dive into the undergraduate program zone. We'll chat about those undergraduate programs.
Sorry. You will see that slide.
It's frozen on my end right now, but that could potentially be my internet connection.
Probably. So yeah, we are on the like. Can anyone else see it?
Yeah, I do see it.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah, we have listed here the programs that we offer through our Faculty of Business Administration. So I don't know who wants to take the floor, talk about our Bachelor of Administration or Honors Bachelor of Commerce.
I think I could maybe speak about this. So there's like the two programs we have are the B.Admin, which is a 3-year program, and the HBCom is the 4-year program. As Isam mentioned, that you cannot apply directly for the B.Admin for the 3-year program. You apply for the HBCom, and then once you're admitted, then you can later on shift or transfer to the B.Admin program. So the B.Admin is a 3-year general program. There is no specializations in that as such, whereas in the HBCom, we got various majors. So there's the list of the majors that you can choose from. Out of these, I think the global entrepreneurship is in the Aurelia campus. Is that right, Isam?
Sure.
Correct, and the business administration.
The business administration. So out of all these majors, the 2 majors are only offered in the Aurelia campus, which are business administration and global entrepreneurship. And as I mentioned earlier, the first 2 years are mostly common for all the students, and then the students choose their majors in the, like they take their paths, start taking the different paths in the 3rd year. based on the majors that they have chosen.
Awesome.
So that's the first year. So basically, you develop some skills which are foundational for progress in management and business later on. So yeah, so these are the basic courses that you take in the first year.
And then, as you mentioned, we have the fact that in the first 2 years, students get to learn all aspects of business administration, and then they get to specialize with one of the majors. But in those first 2 years where they have to take a set of required courses, they also get to choose to have elective courses, right? And I don't know if, like, what are the courses that often students take? I don't know if man, you can tell us a little bit about what your elective courses were in your first year and how your experience was.
Yeah, for sure. So for the first semester, I had quantitative foundation, which is basically a math course. I didn't had maths in my 11th and 12th, and I was doing that elective as a prerequisite so that I can have that knowledge about quantitative analysis, which is one of the courses that will be there in the first year. So quantitative foundation was a prerequisite, and it was also one of my electives. And then in the second semester, I took introduction to professional writing. So it's basically something which you will study in your second year, that is called the business writing. It is similar to that, but not exactly. So that was one of my electives. Other than that, there are various electives, like you can take anthropology, you can take like any elective apart from your business course, or specifically that is not included in your first year or in the list of courses that you have to take. You can take any electives, and I think yeah, it's open. That's that you can take, like there's nothing, no limitation or something like that.
Excellent. Would anybody in the among the panelists would have any sort of advice or comments regarding?
Yes, I have.
Excellent.
As a matter of fact, the design of the program at Aurelia campus, probably Thunder Bay the same, that if you arrange your courses in certain setting, the electives, which means in sociology, in psychology, criminology, any field, non-business field, you can take the courses in sequences that you end with a minor in that field. So if you take the first year political science as a prerequisite to other courses, then the second year, third year, you take political science as your electives. Then you graduate with business degree in certain major and business degree as mentioned, plus minor in political science, in sociology, in psychology, in criminology, in different fields. That's another option when you think about electives.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for sharing. That's great. So we also have several graduate programs. We have a Master of Business Administration that can be a 12-month program, a Master of Business Administration with an Advanced Studies in Management, which is a 16-month program. And we have a Master of Business Administration with a Bachelor of Engineering, which is a year extra after you complete the Bachelor of Engineering. And we have a Master's of Science in Management, which is a 2-year program. So I don't know if someone could, give us a little bit more of an in-depth information about these programs.
Yeah, sure. I can talk about that. Yeah, basically we have kind of one clear distinction between the MBA and then a Master of Science is that the MBA program is designed for people without a previous degree in business. So if you have, I don't know, a bachelor in science or biology or forest management or whatever, something that is not related to business, and you want to get into business, or sometimes you have people that due to a progression in their careers, they take a management position, so they need some business background. Well, the MBA is basically the program for this type of students, this type of individuals. On the other side, if you do have a background in business, for example, you have an HBCom or I know some type of degree in business or economy, or you have more of a basis on business, well, the Master of Science in Management is the degree that is more convenient to you, because basically this degree takes where you left your studies. So with your HBCom, you came to a certain level, and the Master in Management takes from there upwards. So you see more, in-depth topics in specific seminars. You have seminars in marketing, seminars in HR, seminars in operations management, and so on. You have, for example, current issues in management. So basically, you are taking further your studies in management and business. And basically, the Master of Management is a more research-oriented degree. So basically, you receive some advanced knowledge in research methods that allows you to conduct independently some type of research. So let's say that you are a manager and you work in a company and you would like to know, levels of satisfaction of your employees or levels of engagement or whatever. Well, you have the tools to do that.
Excellent. So something that's important to note is that sometimes when you're applying for a master's degree, that it's a project-based or thesis-based program, sometimes you have to, or the advice is for you to find a supervisor who will be able to support your application, or kind of like, that will, you need to contact our graduate coordinators in order to see if you can find that supervisor that will help you through your research project, okay? And the way you do it, you can contact our graduate admissions team, or you can contact any of our recruiters, and we'll help you through that. So here's a first year at glance of the MBA program and the Master of Science in Management. I don't know. I think Dr. Posa, you kind of gave a little bit of a summary of all these, but I don't know if anybody else has anything to add.
Yeah, well, you see that the Master of Business Administration courses are, at least in their title, in the description, is more similar to the courses that a student could take in an HBCom, in an undergraduate program. So you have programs covering all functional areas in business, like accounting, finance, management, HR. HR is human resources, marketing, and so on. So it's a very, very strong foundational crash course in business, right? And of course, you are dealing with people who has already an undergraduate degree. In many cases, they have several years of professional experience. So the speed at which you can deliver the course and the depth of content is also deeper and larger than what you have in undergrad. In the Master of Science in Management, well, you see that the name of the courses are quite different. So it's management theory, current issues in management, research methods. So these are topics that are building on a previous base, business base, and taking from there to, what are the key topics that we are talking about in management in organizations today, or how different theories inform managerial practices, for example.
Fantastic, thank you so much. So the Comparative Advantage, most of our business administration majors offer the opportunity to participate in the Comparative Advantage education. So what is Comparative Advantage? It is a formal part of a curriculum that mixes or incorporates work experience as part of your program of study, okay? So this usually gives students a competitive advantage as they gain work experience in their field of study before they graduate, which leads to finding jobs more easily and attaining higher salaries upon graduation. The majority of our business administration majors or honors Bachelor of Commerce offer the Comparative Advantage education. And we have over 140 different organizations that we're partnered with that you can find, where you can find a work term with. And we will give you the tools for you to find a work term or a job or a comparative education experience that will resonate with your interests. So we do have a team as part of our student success team or department that will help you or will be able to support your job search. We'll give you the tools for you to go through the interview process, and again, just find a comparative education opportunity that will resonate with you. International students usually need a work permit in order to participate in the Comparative Advantage education. And we have an immigration advisor that will help you with that, or will guide you through the process. And you can expect to earn between 20 to 25 or even more, depending on the program you're in, $20, $25 an hour on average, or even a little bit more, depending on the program you're in. And let's see what else. I think I covered pretty much everything. The fact that, while you're in the Comparative Advantage education, you will not be paying tuition fees. You will be paying an admin fee that is a nominal amount. And you will be earning a salary or money throughout the 4 months or the 12 months that you will be working. Welcome back, Jordan.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I apologize once again. Hopefully third time is the charm for my connection here. Thank you, Hector, for covering for me, and thank you for our panelists. I'm sure while I was off there, I'm sure you covered for me as well in filling in the details about first year at a glance for our undergraduate and graduate programs. Next, we're going to move into unique learning opportunities, something I'm very excited to talk about, and I know that our panelists will be able to add to it as well. So the first unique learning opportunity that we're going to discuss on the next slide is actually the Ingenuity space. So you'll see this first photo here of Ingenuity is actually a business incubator at Lakehead University. It's the first business incubator. And with that being said, maybe I'll pass it off to one of our faculty members, Assad. I'm not sure if you can speak to this and let students know a bit more about Ingenuity.
I think, Jordan, I'm not very familiar with this program. Is there, like, I was
no worries, that's totally okay. I can continue speaking about it. So
okay.
For those of you who aren't familiar with business incubators, this is a space dedicated at Lakehead for students to actually access resources, access funding, as well as office space that they can rent out to build a startup company. So for example, when you join us here at Lakehead, if you and one of your friends have a unique passion or a unique idea for a startup, there could be an opportunity for you to receive external funding or funding directly from Lakehead University and the Ingenuity space to get that business off the ground. But more importantly, we recognize that when you're starting a business, some of the most significant expenses can be a dedicated and professional office space to make sure that your brand comes across to that high level that we expect, but also when you are accessing technologies and services, paying for that as a private business, it can be quite expensive, of course. And so with your your enrollment at Lakehead University, you'll have access to many services and supports to also help build that business. On the next slide, we'll actually talk about the Ingenuity Makerspace, which is within the same area, but it's slightly different because this is where students actually get to use 3D printers, laser cutters, all sorts of equipment that are really high tech to further prototype or build out that startup business. This is not only for business students, it is connected directly to FOBA, Faculty of Business Administration. But with that being said, it's not only for business students. So for example, if you might be interested in business or you might be interested in engineering, you're weighing your options, this doesn't limit you to actually accessing this support service on the Thunder Bay campus. And we'll move into the next unique learning opportunity here. And we'll chat a bit about the RBC Work Integrated Learning Program. So RBC is actually the Royal Bank of Canada here, and it's one of our largest financial institutions. We've partnered with RBC in their Work Integrated Learning Program to build out practicums and placements within their institutions here in the Thunder Bay area as well. Many of our programs span across both campuses, of course. This group of students was actually one of the first groups of work integrated learning for the business program. It's in short, it's called WIL, W-I-L. And so these students actually got to be mentored and work within RBC on a regular basis. They were paid for their time, but also the skills that they gained were extremely valuable. One of the gentleman featured in this photo is a good friend of mine, and he actually is now on their corporate finance team. So he was able to transition from the Work Integrated Learning Program into a part-time job in his final year. And then now he's a full-time employee. They're making quite good money. I don't know, we don't talk finance, we don't talk salary. That's kind of things that you avoid with your friends. But I know that he has done really well for himself, and he wouldn't have been able to get where he was without this Work Integrated Learning Program. And so I always encourage students that are interested in learning more about this, really interested in getting that hands-on involvement. This is something that's really key to our business program. So then we'll move on to the next slide, and another really unique international, unique learning opportunity is international exchanges. I feel like I know quite a bit about the program. I didn't clarify this, but I am a graduate of the Honors Bachelor of Commerce program. I did marketing as my major and human resources and industrial relations as my minor. So many of these stories are actually some of my friends. This girl here is Danielle. She's one of my best friends today, and she actually got to go on an exchange to Finland. So she did a full semester in Finland. In our third year, she had an amazing time. Finland was her choice, but there's choices to go all around the world. You can go to Australia, you can go to China or the larger Asia area. You can also go to broader European destinations. So this is her choice to go to Finland. I think she made the right choice because she also had the pleasure to travel around Europe while she was there. So she would take her weekends and she would use them wisely, go on little getaways to explore Europe a bit further. The stories she brought home and the experience that she brought home really gave her a leg up. So then she actually moved into our Masters of Science and Management program here at Lakehead, and she recently graduated, and now she has a full-time job at a local telecommunications company here, and she's a sales rep. So she actually speaks to that experience of being able to connect to a broader range of people within the Thunder Bay area to connect on those sales calls, using her international experience. So it really shows you that adding that the value added of doing an international exchange and bringing that knowledge, bringing that experience into your resume, your CV, and then applying to jobs really helps you. So next we'll chat about, I believe, success stories. Yep. So this group here is actually from our accounting team. So this group of Lakehead University students participated in an accounting case competition. This was at the Achieve conference in Toronto. And so they were actually first place out of many Canadian universities. So we competed against smaller universities, larger universities, and Lakehead University's team really shined here, and we were able to achieve first place. Some of these students also are my classmates. So it's funny to see the connections there, but we were very proud to bring this one home for Lakehead University. In the next slide, we actually have our Enactus team who, this photo is from their national competition in Vancouver. In their regional competition, they actually were able to place first in several categories, and that elevated them to get to their nationals here in Vancouver. When they were in Vancouver, they placed quite well. I believe they were second overall in their category, so that was really impressive for them. And they, again, many students I know, they've spoke to me about their experience and gaining that additional presentation skills and utilizing the experience that they have from their classes. So many classes that are built in that first 2 years of foundations really applies to your third and fourth year and pulling on those expertise. So whether you're going into accounting, for example, in your third and fourth year, that's not to say that you won't use skills that you've picked up in your marketing courses, your statistics courses, your human resources courses. You really pull and you draw on all those skills and expertise areas to help build you and advance you in your career and your educational journey. So next we'll chat about career opportunities. So by no means is this an exhaustive list of career opportunities here at Lakehead University after you graduate. We listed a broad range to give you an idea. Of course, as we do have so many disciplines, it really does allow you to go kind of anywhere you would imagine, all the way up to the CEO. And we've seen it before. We have several business graduates that have started amazing companies. One, for example, would be Live Nation. So Live Nation, for those of you who aren't in North America, is a ticketing sales company that hosts live concerts or live entertainment experiences. And the CEO of the company, who founded the company, which is a multinational company now, actually started here at Lakehead University. He did his degree. There's something called the Outpost here on campus, which is our local food place, hub, pub, grub, whatever you want to call it. He actually started his journey by hosting events at the Outpost. So you can learn more about the Outpost on our website. I'm sure you'll learn about it in some of our upcoming webinars about student life and getting involved. But it's very interesting to see that he was able to apply hosting events here on our campus of maybe a few hundred people, and now he's been able to elevate that to own one of the largest ticketing sales company in the entire world. And he's partnered, and Live Nation is partnered with some of the biggest artists that you know of in the world. So it's really exciting to see that he's elevated from that few hundred people at Lakehead University's Thunder Bay Outpost to now thousands of people at entire stadium arenas, entire concert tours. It's really great to see that. To our panelists, does anyone want to add to this list? Does anyone want to expand on it or chat more about the career opportunities?
Yes, sure. I think I'd like to mention that at Lakehead, we've got like special arrangements with the CPA body. So CPA is a chartered professional accountant. I believe. I'm not from accounting, but I'm just trying to
chartered professional accountants. Yep.
Chartered professional. Yeah, exactly. So if you're if you are thinking of maybe a career in accounting later on, post your HPComp, then Lakehead is the place to be, because we have a pretty strong accounting major that is very closely associated with the CPA body. And we also offer a graduate diploma in accounting. So post HPComp, you can stay for another semester or so and get that diploma, and that gives you a lot of you could say exemptions from the professional exams that you have to take to get to that designation.
Sure.
Apart from that, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to add is that with that CPA designation, like you said, accounting majors at Lakehead University actually graduate with the prerequisite requirements for something called CPA Prep, which is the prerequisite education program. And so for students that do not come from a recognized school, they'll actually have to complete an extra year of courses with CPA, and then the additional multi-year courses and placements with a company to become CPA certified, whereas Lakehead graduates can advance right into that 2-year program where they're doing placements and working in the field. Another thing to note on the note of designations is actually our human resources courses. They are approved by Human Resources Professionals Association, and you can use them towards other certified human resources designations such as CHIRP, CHRL, CHRE, and those are just a few to name. So I'll pass it back to you, Assad.
Yeah, and apart from that, if you're looking into marketing, I think there is opportunities in marketing as well, both in the marketing and the sales paths. Yeah, and I've seen like the students from the marketing majors going into public relations, starting off their careers here in Thunder Bay, or maybe moving to some other places in Canada. So that is also a pretty happening major, I think, and perhaps Isam can tell us a little bit about maybe in like operations management and related areas.
Actually, I would talk about the program in Aurelia, where we have entrepreneurship program. This entrepreneurship program is unique program that qualifies students to work in entrepreneurial corporations. So it's been designed by the Faculty of Business to prepare students to work on companies. They integrate business and technology to high density constraint integration. And for example, Amazon, like that type of or Apple, or that type of corporations where they integrate business and technology. So the entrepreneurship is one of the unique programs, and it's a new type of education in management, that you know how to manage innovation, how to manage ideas, how to manage creation and new models. So that's as well a promising program for students, and there are now so many, especially after the pandemic and working at home and integration of technology in everything in our lives. This program will appeal more than it was before the pandemic, because it deals and it trains people to think and work in such an environment which is very entrepreneurial.
Sure.
That's what I wanted to mention. It's yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for mentioning that. I'm glad that you brought that up, and it kind of speaks to right now what our students are currently facing. Of course, there are challenges with COVID, both in your personal life and in your educational journey or your work life. But I think that what our students are recognizing, and what employers will recognize, is the resilience of our students, that they've been able to power through any ups and downs and continue on in their educational journey. And hopefully either they've graduated as of last year, or they'll be graduating this year. Maybe even they've started this year for their first one, and they'll continue on for a few more. So on that note of speaking of students, I do want to pass it over to Mun Koner. So she is a current student here at Lakehead University. She's in her second year. Mun, I'm going to ask you a few questions about your Lakehead experience. You can share with the audience about your thoughts and your advice, of course. So my first question for you, and I know that we've chatted about this briefly, is what have been your most enjoyable courses? So what would you recommend students really look forward to? What has been the most exciting or intriguing courses you've taken?
Well, in my first year, I think all the courses were interesting, because like they were from different perspective, and then there was introduction to management, there was statistics, which is quantitative analysis, and then I think there was business computing, where you learn something about the computing aspect. Not a big computing or that kind of fan. Like, I don't like computer stuff at all. But then it was interesting. Like, I got to know a lot of things about that. The favorite course has to be Introduction to Management. Um, because first of the professor was really nice. Her name is Kim Kerioja, and I just love her style of teaching, like the way she presents the topic in the class. And then I love how professors have after class questions. So it's not just that you're done with the lecture, it's also that we have certain type of questions just to review the whole chapters or the whole lectures. That was a plus point. And being that being said, that was my favorite course. I end up getting really good grades in that, because of the efforts of the professor and individual effort as well. So yeah, that would be the favorite one.
Awesome. I think that that ties in nicely to the fact that what we always encourage our students to do is find their passion, find their desires, and then match them with a program or a major of their choosing that they're going to be most successful. And so, like you said, you really enjoyed the professor, but also the course content itself was really intriguing to you, and you found success in getting good grades in that. And so when choosing that major going into your third year at the undergraduate level, we always encourage students critically think about what was the most exciting topic to them, what was the major, or what courses really pushed them to be the most successful. And on that note, I wanted to ask you.
Sorry, Jordan, just to mention something that probably it wasn't clear, that students in the first year, they don't have to declare certain major. So because the major is in the third year, so the first 2 years, they take general courses to prepare them for the major. And even if they declare the first year certain major and they start the program, after 2 years, if they think that not that the major they don't want to do, they can change into another major, to different major. So the major issue, it comes in the third year, the first and second year, because sometimes students in the first year, they come to me and they say, oh, I don't know which major I choose. I was, okay, leave it now and take some courses and then develop interest in something. The major decision, the final decision will be in the third year. So even if you chose not the right major for you, it's okay. In the third year, we can change you into the major you think it fits your interest.
For sure, that's a great point. The next question I wanted to ask Mun is, obviously, given the pandemic and working remotely and studying remotely from your home country, has there been any situations where a professor has sort of gone above and beyond what the expectations or the requirements are of them to provide you an extra support or an extra layer of help?
Yes, there was, and it's a recent event. Like it happened, like maybe last week. Yeah, last week I had my midterms. So March is like where we have the midterms. Once we are done with the reading week, which is in February, we have assignments and midterms piled up. So for all those who don't know, I'm in India right now, and I'm studying from India like remotely. So I had a midterm at 1 a.m., which is 2:30 p.m. in Canada. And the course was organizational behavior, where I had to write long answers, like really long answers, like 5 essay type questions. And typing those at 1 a.m., I was totally exhausted. Like I was not in the position to write and type and then concentrate and think about it. So I didn't know what to do. I started panicking. So what I do is I always decide to email the professors, just not keep it to myself. I want to let them know what I'm going through so that they can support me. And then there was the support. My professor emailed me back. I explained the situation like, hey, professor, I'm in different time zone and I cannot concentrate. I don't know, I'm getting worried. Like maybe I'll end up getting bad grades. I don't know if I'll perform good or and stuff like that. And then she emailed me back like immediately within like minutes. She replied me and she was like, okay, let's not really worry about the grades at the moment, and I'll give you some grace period. When you wake up, you can type those answers in the Word document and then you can submit it to me. um, and I was so happy and relieved at that point, because the stress level at that point of time, like 1 a.m., you're writing the exam and then you don't know what will happen. And then when you see your professor replying in this way that, okay, don't worry about it, I'll help you, you can give it to me later, and something like that, I was relieved, and I immediately went back to sleep thinking that, okay, I am getting help. I am not alone in this. We are all facing challenges. No doubt that we all are facing challenges being in different time zones. And it's a challenge for professors as well, doing everything online. So my professor understood that, and happy to say that I received 90% grade in that course in the midterm. So it was a great a moment when I saw that, okay, I'm receiving good grade in this. But the bigger part my professor played, and I was happy about that.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad to hear that your professor was able to accommodate that. I can appreciate being a student not too long ago myself, the stress of studying for exams and knowing that timeline or that deadline is ticking away for when you're going to start or while you're doing it. Maybe you're writing your last few paragraphs of an answer, but you know you have about 20 minutes left on the exam. So I'm really glad to hear that they were able to accommodate that for you. Next, we're going to move right into a question and answer period. We'll have to skip over on the outstanding alumni. I encourage anyone who would like to learn more about the student experience and hear from fellow alumni. If you head over to our website, lakeheadu.ca/international, we have a section dedicated to our student voices, and you can hear from plenty of student voices. We've added nearly hundreds now. So with that being said, I'll open the floor. There is a Q&A button on Zoom, and you can submit questions using that feature. If you have submitted questions in the chat, it looks like a few of them have been addressed. Thank you, Claudio. We'll leave the floor open. I know that we're approaching the end of today's session around 10 o'clock. We had a bit of technical difficulties here. So if any of our guests need to head out right at 10 sharp, please don't hesitate to do so. Thank you for joining us. But I'll keep the Q&A open for a few moments here. In the meantime, why don't we flip to the next slide, and I'll chat about how you can stay connected with Lakehead University and International. So you can follow us on our Facebook page or Instagram. You can find us at Lakehead International on both channels. You can also head over to our YouTube channel, Lakehead University. We have 2 playlists dedicated to international students. One is called Lakehead International. It's where you get to hear from other fellow international students, testimonials, exploring our campuses, exploring our hometowns. The second playlist that you're looking for is going to be Lakehead International Live. So today's session was recorded and we'll be uploading it in a few days' time. But any of our previous webinars that are recorded are also uploaded after the fact on our YouTube channel. And with that being said, I want to remind you, if you haven't been able to check out our campus via the virtual tour, now is the time. I really encourage you to do that. Of course, we're not able to have visitors join us on campus, and in most cases, international students can't make it to Thunder Bay or Aurelia to visit us before joining us. So taking that virtual campus tour will help you explore our facilities, our residents, our laboratories, all that sort of stuff, and really give you a better idea of what you can anticipate when you join us either in Aurelia or Thunder Bay. All you have to do is head over to lakeheadu.ca/tours. With that being said, let me check out the chat. It looks like we haven't received any questions at this point. So I will end it here today, and I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you to all of our panelists, and thank you, Mun, especially for joining us in India. I know it's getting quite late there for you. So thanks again to our audience for the questions today, the participation on our polls. It's been great hosting you. Again, I apologize for the technical issues. If I could have everything run perfectly smooth, I would, but
I'm just going to answer 2 quick questions on the Q&A.
For sure.
You probably don't have there. One is, are there any residences nearby Lakehead that are not part of the campus accommodation? And yes, we do have them, or there's plenty of housing available around the campus. We do have a team of members of the International Student Services team that can guide you a little bit about, how to approach that. Prices per semester or year for the residency on campus are on our website. So please make sure you visit our website, and you will find all the information about rates and even meal plans, all those sort of things. If not, you can contact us to welcome at Lakehead University. Welcome at lakeheadu.ca. And the other question was, I'm still in school. My national exams are not done until May. We want to get the results until July. Will my admission be based on my grade 10th and ongoing grade 11 or predicted grades? So yes, our admissions team can provide, if you meet the admission requirements, a conditional letter of acceptance if you apply when you're still in high school. And you can contact us to welcome at lakeheadu.ca and we'll guide you through the admissions process. Okay.
Awesome. On that note, Hector, I might as well add also for some of our students that are currently in their undergrad and looking into our MBA or Masters of Science and Management program, if you're currently in progress within that course, so maybe you have a few months left until you wrap up, you finish your last exams, and then congratulations, you've graduated from your undergraduate, you are absolutely more than welcome to apply using those in progress marks. Our admissions committee within the Faculty of Business Administration will evaluate those in progress marks, and similarly can also offer in progress or conditional offer letters. And then upon graduation, upon those final marks and that proof of degree, you would submit those to our graduate studies admission team, and they'll be able to confirm that you've met the admission and offer letter, and then they'll provide you with that unconditional offer letter. So on that note, I want to thank everyone for joining us once again, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one. I know we'll be back again on Monday to chat about applying for your student visa and making sure all of your immigration issues are addressed. Awesome. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for checking out today's video. If you have any questions, you can always comment below. Stay connected and follow us on our social media channels to stay informed about upcoming webinars and get an insider sneak peek of Lakehead University. See you next time.